Hello guys and welcome to this special video where I'll be showing you highlights of my comments about the last weekend pre-release campaign, multiplayer campaign with other creators. It was a multiplayer game with over 30 players where we could see me as the Brandenburg, Chewy as Austria, Realms Deep as Bohemia, Ben Magnus as Poland, FeedBackGaming as Saxony, Groogy on Denmark, Florian the Martian, Quill on Savoy, Shenner on Tunis, RadioRes on Switzerland, Lambert on England, Prussian on Burgundy, and Lucas on France, and of course a thousand of other amazing creators, really good ones. The whole list you can find on the video description, so let's begin it. Obviously my first move was to ally Emperor, then Groogy to have some naval support. I needed to disinherit this shitty heir and some minor alliances with my neighbors Zlewikk and Cologne. First play war started in a month. Venice was attacked by Austria, Papal State and two Balkan nations. You can see that also Brandenburg received new ideas. We have some claim costs, infantry compatibility, tax, stab modifier, morale, deep rep, unrest, some equilibrium and states maintenance. So that's quite a nerf for this nation at the start, but only from Prussia will receive their ideas. The moment I could increase my stability, I finally took care of my estates. First of all, I increased influence and loyalty on all of them, and then I took cheaper advisors. I took it later because cheaper advisors are increasing the stability cost. So as you can see, on top of those bonuses, I also received a bonus from each estate from their loyalty and influence. Advisors became cheaper, but still I could only afford level 1 advisors, so I picked production 1 from administrative, from diplomatic I picked spy network guy to get claims quicker, and from the military obviously I took the discipline. As surrender of Maine happened, we didn't have to wait for another player war. This time we have France and Burgundy plus Aragon and Naples versus Castile, Portugal, Austria and England. In the meantime I was helping my friend Cologne with a minor wall on the western borders, and on this time the Fate of Neumark event finally appeared, so I could buy 2 provinces for 100 ducats. Quite a good deal, right? This event gave me a mission that allowed me to get claims on the Pomeranian provinces. In the meantime, the French alliance was doing quite nice in Iberia. After finishing the Cologne war, I could finally go after Stettin, so I started slowly conquering this Pomeranian lands for myself, which wasn't easy because they had level 3 fort. Imagine that a Castilian player got disconnected and France pissed out, so to even the chances, Burgundy also pissed out of the war. As it was level 3 sea fort, I needed to ask Denmark to help me, so he just destroyed the fleet and blockaded the port. 1450 wasn't the best year for FeedBackGaming on Saxony, but at least Emperor took the first reform, while France finally pissed out England and took Gascony, which was surprising for everyone. A moment later I took the fort in Stettin and pissed out this country, getting another 2 princes for myself. And Feedback, yeah, he quite much died at this moment. My next step was to declare humiliation war on Mecklenburg to get some power points, and I also needed Volgas inside this war to break the alliance with Teutonic Order. So that's exactly what I did, so in the next war I would just simply fully annex them without fighting any stronger country. In fact, I was even thinking about taking 1 province from Mecklenburg because that's what we agreed with Zlewikk, but Zlewikk fully annexed Mecklenburg in this time. And it was even better for me because I took the province, he sold me this 1 province that was promised for me, and I could still take the soul strength power points from Verdun. A moment later I went to the war with Brunswick, took the capital fort just to have this basic defensive position for the future. This was the Europe's map mode after almost 30 years of gameplay. As I was having out of aggressive expansion, I simply was helping Cologne again with the expansion, but at this point I received an event for 20 years and 10% of morale, and there was also the Shadow Kingdom incident within the HRE. And I think Chewy, so Austria, felt that event because he immediately asked me if we should attack Bohemia. Chewy is quite mad on Bohemia because he was supposed to flick back to Catholic after getting missions from Hussite, but he stayed Hussite and he was spreading the religion abroad. Anyway, my first idea choice was simply quality, to start with a better army, and a second later I started the war with Volgast to fully annex them, and I've called Groogy to again blockade the ports. During the war, even at the last moments of it, I've received pretender rebels, which appeared to be way better than my current heirs, so I decided to let them break my country. After piecing up Volgast, it took them a few months, even a year, to break the country, and thanks to it, now I had way more power points incoming. And when everything seemed to be going in a good way, Bohemia used the moment when Austria was at war with the Ottomans to attack me, where I was not paying my army and my forts. I also didn't have institution and military technology, so I immediately clones, embraced the institution, took the technology, recruited some mercenaries, and got ready for the war. Of course, I couldn't have Zlewikk over here in this battle because I was still lacking morale and I would also only lose this battle. But the moment I was ready, I went to prepare for the siege in Berlin, and I went in with 24,000, so the combat width, while Bohemia's second stack was quite away from reinforcing this battle. And in the meantime I just reinforced the battle with the rest of my own troops and won that without any problems. In the meantime, Austria also came from the south, so I decided that I would just go around through Poland and I would join them because together we'll be having bigger chances to win all of the battle. Even though Austria had a lot of problems to win with Bohemians, they finally managed to do that through the numbers.
I literally can't do anything. He's kicking my ass in this fight right here.
Anyway, Bohemia went for Berlin again, so I needed to go there, and with a slight help of Zlewikk and Cologne, we managed to get them back to Prague, where they got beaten by Austrians again, and at this point, and when we sieged another fort, they decided to finally surrender. And nobody expected that, but we were able to take a quite huge chunk of land from them. I left the war with over 1,000 dead, so in the meantime my allies were helping me repay all of the loans. A few years later, Burgundian inheritance fired, and Burgundy decided to go with France, and we decided to take the second, so restoration of union casus belli on Burgundy. Yeah, as you can see, Burgundy decided to go under the personal union with France. A second later, another incident happened where we should decide if Burgundy should join the empire or should he get casus belli on each elector. Choice was quite obvious because if we will let him join the empire, he would be able to just attack our princess within it. Unfortunately, in the meantime we had a huge F for Muscovy, which died from Poland, Sweden and Livonian Order. 1484 you could mainly see Florryworry, me and RadioRes on the technology map mode of HRE. A second later, the worst thing of this campaign happened, so Burgundy receiving the Holy See, which they used to decrease their reform desire to 0, which triggered me quite a lot, and my attitude towards them was no longer friendly. I was not going to stop any coalition from happening against them. Anyway, my quality ideas were finished in 1488 and I was already in the middle of doing the economic ones for the discipline and development cost. This was the moment for another revenge on the Bohemians, and I was supposed to take the gold mine this time. With this, my economy should be slightly better for the future. Burgundy was still decreasing their reform desire. I felt it is the best moment to scornfully insult them. And this is basically the map after 40 years of playing, so after day 1 of steering the whole event. I think that we did quite nice over there. My very first move in the day 2 was stating the gold mine and decreasing the autonomy there, which gave me over 4 income, but remember it was still a different religion, so I needed to change it. Anyway, as mentioned, I was no longer willing to stop the coalition against Burgundy to happen, so that's why I decided to get them out of the Caribbean, so I was able to get the golden era and get ready for the war coalition against them. You know, the day is going to be perfect when you started with the noble warriors with -1 stability, and just a second later a command site. A second later the whole coalition was started. We of course joined it just to burn the Burgundian provinces from burning the reform desire, but to be honest, we didn't do much in this war, even though we've sent our troops, but they just were sieging the provinces.
So what do you want from me? I am just peaceful country.
I want your head on the pike. You should have never tried to deal with the Reformation, making one stack wipe on the Burgundian troops. As the war ended and I had a lot of spare power points, I started developing my farmlands to get more maximum manpower. Just a few years later my economic ideas finished, so I had even cheaper development cost and policy for +5 discipline. But anyway, nobles were still worried and I've lost another stability. Powiem tak, ja i Flory możemy rozjebać wszystkich i wam pomóc, ale potrzebujemy godziny 2.
Bo jak przeżyjemy, bo mają nas zaraz
Przeżyjecie.
atakować po nas.
Przeżyjecie. Możesz dziękować niedźwiedziowi za zmniejszanie Reform Desire. Bez tego to by to się nie wydarzyło.
Jedź, to wszystko przez ciebie!
So as me and Flory were supposed to help Burgundy in France, we need to prepare for the war and it means expanding. To do so, we unfortunately had to sacrifice Zlewikk and we were very slow to do so, but it had to happen to speed things up. Now imagine, I've told Burgundy that I will help them and they still were decreasing the war Reform Desire. For the first one I was so angry, but then I just came back to them and started convincing that we might actually help them, but they need to stop decreasing the Reform Desire.
Niedźwiedź zrzeknij się tego papiestwa i grajmy dalej.
Ale może to jest
I
przeznaczenie.
od razu wam mówi, ja i Flory mamy dwie najlepsze armie pod względem jakości w grze w tej chwili. As a part of the preparations, I was still developing my province a lot. You can see it was already quite cheap, it could be better, but yes, it was cheap and I was developing it all the time. So not so long after our talk with Burgundy in France, they attacked Castile and got attacked by Austria. So they ended up in two very hard walls, which they couldn't win. They couldn't win both wars, so I convinced them to unconditionally surrender the stronger side, so the HRE, and take care of Castile. I'm giving tips and tricks to Burgundy and France to just keep alive. And as our war against Zlewikk was coming, and it wasn't war 2 versus 1, he already got some allies in the HRE. I've got this perfect event for more morale. Imagine that Flory wasn't even on Discord at the beginning of the war, and we still managed to stack wipe the troops of Zlewikk in just 3 days. I will show them what is Prussia. Flory just told me that he stack wiped 30,000 of Danish troops. I'll show you what will happen here with those troops. You have no idea. So after saying that, I was going to win the battle against Bavarians, but not in this style. You can see what was the difference in the quality of the troops. When I was saying that to Burgundy in France, I didn't know the difference might be that big. A second later, Groogy tried his second chance and he thought that he can do anything against us, but he ended up the same as Bavarians. In my second battle against Bavarians, I was the attacking side and I was fighting 1 versus 2, because it was 30,000 of my troops versus 60,000 of theirs, and you can see that they barely won that, so I had to go back to Berlin. So Sweden found that they have space marines and so they rented condottieri to Zlewikk, but still, as you can see, it's nothing compared to Dithmarschen mini Prussia. So Groogy recruited over 50,000 troops, so basically almost the number that we and Flory had together, and he tried again to fight us, but without any chance to actually win that. On top of that, Swedish condottieri got stack wiped after this battle. This was a scary moment because Austria broke alliance with us and allied Bavaria. Yeah, I'm going for the fort.
Holy shit.
What's up?
Check this shit.
Oh, get him to the siege. When we went down for another battle in Bavaria, they tried to fight us with almost 80,000 troops, and we won by using less than 60,000. So when Zlewikk seen that we are actually going to peace out Bavaria separately soon, he just unconditionally surrendered. So both me and Flory took 2 provinces for each other. Next few moments were quite funny because I got this pop-up, so alliance partner dismissed. I thought that Flory broke with me, he thought that I broke with him, but it was just a matter of relations after the aggressive expansion.
He said, Mamluks are brain dead. And
Oh, no.
Daniel said, I'm still here.
So as the Reformation was finally growing, I decided to convince Austria for a fair European war.
Oh, there's
Chewy,
apparently.
Chewy,
What's up, bro?
let's talk. I'm just thinking how to make everything even more happy, like exciting for everyone. Because right now you'll be just raping France and Burgundy over and over, right?
Oh, I know, I'm bored, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
you're
Chad
bored,
as
so...
well.
And these wars are boring, because you're just raping them. And I have an idea how we can resolve that. But it's just an idea, and... What?
Yeah, tell me, I'm interested.
Yeah, what if me and Florry join them? And you're all attacking, well, this will be such war. Me and Florry, France, Burgundy against like the others that are already fighting with France and Burgundy. And this way we are going to like both have fun and like manage the wars to be at least, you know, on a good scale. Well, like we could for example go for the war on the Casus Belli that you cannot take lands. So we'll be having fun and nobody will lose anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of like a humiliate rival or something like that.
A few moments later, Commonwealth was finally formed, but we still had friendly relations, fortunately. In the late 1530s, Reformed desire was already on the level of 69%, and on 100% it was supposed to get the Reformation. What is even better, my quantity ideas were finally finished, so I was ready with my whole setup for this campaign. Of course, it unlocked me the great policy for development costs, so I could turn on the edicts and start spamming development inside my country. And you can see over here what developing your province is doing to the crown land. It's just spoofing it to the incredible amounts. So as another coalition against France and Burgundy was preparing, me and Florry decided to use a speed bump of the Netherlands to get to them. A second later I got called first and I was just in time with the winged Brandenburgians to reinforce in my first battle with the Switzerland. This is the late being big war that we were supposed to do. Sometime later Florry also arrived, so we decided to engage on the Spaniards, which had really incredible morale, but we managed to win the battles anyway. Right after that I decided to push into Italy, but I just got stopped by Switzerland and Sardinia Piedmont, and France was a little bit too late to reinforce my troops. Anyway, we tried again, and on the second time it was an easy battle. As they couldn't connect their troops, Spaniards kept pushing from the south, so we needed to stop them in one of the biggest battles of this campaign. So after that we also kept pushing and winning other battles to get Spain inside the Iberian Peninsula.
Go back!
I don't have any
Oh my god,
options
no!
because my...
Burgundy was also declared by Austria and Westphalia, which we couldn't help against. He needed to unconditionally surrender, but fortunately they only wanted one province, so we could continue our war against the other countries. Spanish quality of the troops was really nice because remember it was still Age of Reformation, so they had this perk from the age, but we kept winning all the battles. We after all had Prussia and mini peasant Prussia. Near the end of the war, Protestantism finally arrived, so I was only counting minutes until I was able to form it. Yeah, Florry was quite mad. He decided to push into mountains inside Italy, and he achieved what he came for. In the meantime, Switzerland and Sardinia Piedmont decided that it is a better idea to go and push into my country. So I came back, but on my way home I just casually stack wiped another Groogy stack. When they've seen this stack wipe and my troops coming, they just abandoned the sieges, so I just rushed them back in a second. When I was back in France, Spain committed quite a huge mistake because they decided to switch the unit types while sieging down a fort. So we used that and we lacked literally 1 day to win the battle 1 day earlier to stack wipe the 40,000 troops. So after this battle, Spain was like, nah, I'm out of this, so Sardinia Piedmont was actually having to unconditionally surrender to us. Casualties of both sides weren't that huge, but it's for this year it wasn't that bad, they've lost more troops. Are you ready, guys? Prussia, we of course fully militarized our country and we didn't even lose a single militarization because it was all based on our government capacity. So right now, as we had just 25 minutes until the end, we were searching for a potential 1v1 player. Oh, hey Poland, would you like a friendly 1v1? Yeah, we're just ending in 30 minutes, right?
I mean, we are about to pop something on my end. I'm about to get into something else right now.
It's a pretty big one.
Maybe Florry. Oh yes, Florry. Prussian ideas have developed because obviously my next step was also to develop the shit out of my provinces to come back into the great powers list. Chewy, are you doing something interesting?
What's up?
Yeah, we have 25 minutes. Let's do 1v1.
1v1? Bro, you're gonna kick my ass.
Look,
You're
I'm just
forcing
after exhausting
mine
war,
because-
you know. I have half of my manpower.
Zlewikk, I literally have a force limit of 48, 49.
That's almost same as me. Come on.
You have, I guarantee you have like 120 discipline. I have 105. No, a 1v1 is terrible.
Here's another proof how overpowered developing your provinces is for your own crown land. And just before the start of my 1v1 with Florry, I got a person of France, but I immediately told him that he cannot intervene in this war. For the war with Florry, I decided to prepare 2 full backrows of artillery and 2 front lines, which probably turned out that it wasn't the best idea because 1 full backrow would be enough. So when Florry declared on me, we both only had manpower troops. I have over 100,000 and he came with almost 70,000. At the beginning he went into my country thinking that I have similar amount of the troops, but when we've seen my quantity, he just came back to this homeland and decided to defend. So seeing my advantage, I started sieging now Zlewikk and defending this siege with a second stack from the south. He decided to go around this and attack me in Zlewikk to be a defender, but we managed to win this battle without any problems. This was the point Florry decided to recruit 60,000 of mercs, while I was still without the mercs, so this was probably my biggest mistake, that I was still only on manpower troops. I just should also get a lot of loans as him and recruit mercs. Anyway, he started sieging on Zlewikk, so I engaged on him, and his second stack with only mercs engaged on my second army. But I managed my army properly, so I could win both of the battles because I had 2 full backrows of artillery, so at this situation it was quite useful. In the meantime I won 1 more disorganized battle, but then my regiment started running out of people while he was still recruiting mercs, so he used that situation and engaged me in a single battle because I had 2 backrows of artillery and he had 1. So he used that because my second backrow of artillery was just useless in this battle and I was lacking infantry. At this point I finally decided to get some mercs, not so many of them though, and I didn't wait for them to recover the morale because I wanted to defend the fort in Zlewikk. And as Florry burned the ground in Wismar, I went into this battle but so slowly. I was so much slowed down by this, and my reinforcements were just simply a few days late to get into the battle, and my archery went to the first row, and because of that we've lost. Not to mention those bad rolls, but it was just random. At this moment I was just like, yeah, if he's recruiting 60-70,000 of mercs, why shouldn't I do that the same? So I just started recruiting the mercs, getting ready for the next battle, this time as a defender and with the proper reinforcements, and the session ended. So when we checked with Florry our economies, he was on minus 100 balance monthly, I was on minus 40, and I still had way more mercs to recruit, so basically if I went slightly more out of my comfort zone, I would probably easily win this war. But yeah, we didn't finish it, so this was the end. So to sum up this video, it was quite a nice campaign, a tall one, a tall Prussia with very good quality with a lot of development. So at the end I would like to thank Midgeman and Groogy for organizing this event. It was really nice, I was really glad that I could play there, and I hope to play it in the future because the players were really amazing, I had a lot of fun and I hope the others as well. And I'm sorry Zlewikk again for killing you, it's nothing personal really, it had to happen, and hopefully you trust me next time. So, For this, thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please leave a like and comment, and of course subscribe to the channel after all to get these notifications going. So, see ya!